Hey guys, Paul here from GOHUNT, and we're here in the GOHUNT showroom today to talk about a really cool drop and release by Stone Glacier. And this is an addition to their apparel line. We're pretty excited. There's not a whole lot of changes, but there are some really cool changes as far as some of the gear goes and some really great additions. So I'm gonna kind of start with our next to skin base layers, and we're gonna move all the way up to a mid layer or even an outer layer, depending on the season we're getting into. In this new color, muskeg, they traditionally had it in the granite gray. So going with the muskeg, they still are doing the short sleeve version, and they're also doing the long sleeve or hooded version with the quarter zip, which is pretty nice. A couple little design features that I like about Stone Glacier, and they are very considerate of as fitting a backpack, knowing that if we're sweating, abrasion, and everything else that goes on, it can create some hot spots. And what they eliminate, which is really, really nice, are no seams along the shoulders. They give you kind of these front-facing seams along the front of the chest and kind of like a back-facing seam on the back of the shoulder. So as your backpack strap is kind of riding up and over the top of your shoulder, we won't get a lot of hot spots or any abrasion here, which is kind of nice, really comfortable and very considerate of them. The synthetic line is treated with Polygiene. And what that is if you guys are familiar with merino, which we've already talked about, it has a natural antimicrobial property called lanolin. Well, what Polygiene is the introduction of an antimicrobial property, which is kind of like a silver chloride or kind of like a silica sand, because sand also has a natural antimicrobial property that's introduced into their synthetics, which help to break up and reduce any environment for bacteria to grow and kind of start to smell. So what you can do is you get more use and longer uses out of your synthetics, and you don't have to wash them as often. If you guys are washing, by the way, any of this gear, I would recommend like a Granger's Performance Wash, a down wash, or even like Nick Wax Technical Wash, something that is not aggressive, that won't remove some of the Polygiene or any of the natural like bacteria and odor resistant antimicrobial properties. Use something very non-aggressive. So again, Granger's or Tech Wash would do great with these guys, and then follow the wash instructions. This will create a longer lasting top or bottom and material, because investing in this stuff can get expensive, and we want to make sure it lasts as long as it's meant to and designed to. So getting back to our Avro synthetic hoodie, this is a really popular hoodie for quite a few people in the office, actually. Living here, working out here, shooting here, and hunting here in Las Vegas, Nevada, or anywhere in Nevada, it's very warm. So synthetics are great for keeping that heat off of our skin with that SPF-proof material. We're able to breathe, we're able to sweat, we're able to cool down and maintain our hunting day, our training, our running, our shooting, going to the range, whatever it might be. Synthetics are really comfortable for that. So a lot of us like to do the long sleeve hooded version of that. Moving over into something that we can supplement, getting away from our next to skin or base layers, could also just be your outer layer for hiking into a really hot canyon somewhere for that August, September mule deer hunt, or sitting on a blind for antelope. This would be great. Moving over to the new Cirque Vest. The Cirque Vest itself is a really, really cool design, very similar to the Cirque Jacket. It's 133 grams of Primaloft gold. For all of you guys thinking like, sure, what does that mean? Primaloft just has kind of like a chart or kind of a display of their different synthetics and different insulations within material. Primaloft gold is one of their classics. It's tried and true, and it works really, really well. So the Cirque Jacket, as you guys know, used to have pit zips in it. Well, they just removed the sleeves, and they just give you a vest, which is really comfortable because this is keeping our core warm. So if we happen to just maybe be running this for archery, we're getting up in the morning, it's maybe in the 40s, we're just a little chilly, but we know that once we get that pack on and we start moving from canyon to canyon or ridge to ridge, we're gonna get hot. This guy would work great for that. It's not too bulky, hugs the body really, really well. Synthetic itself is mapped throughout this vest and throughout most jackets and everything else we use. Synthetic is great with wind and is definitely a great piece for dynamic movement. It's active insulation. We're able to breathe a little bit while we're staying warm and moving around and everything else. So I think this is a really great piece that fits in between a lot of stuff. Again, taking into consideration that we're wearing their backpacks or whatever backpack it might be, they're not giving you any stitching across the shoulders, which is really nice and comfortable. On the insides of our jackets and these vests are going to be some pockets here and here. So if you guys are like me and forget that you're hiking in with your headlamp and it's 10 in the morning and the sun's already up, you can take it off without having to put it back in your backpack to take everything off. Just kind of open your vest, pop it in there. You can keep some gloves in there. You can keep your headlamp in there, whatever it might be. If you have a 10 essentials kit, whatever it is, it's kind of nice to have that available for you. There's not much to say about the vest other than I really like that Stone Glacier's creating small pieces that can fit in between something, so you don't have to have 3 different versions of the same thing. You can just have the vest that works, and it kind of does take the place of maybe like their Grumman down vest, depending on the situation. This can work as a great outer layer if we're needing it to, maybe warmer, cool-ish conditions, again, August, September mornings, or it'd be a great mid-layer underneath something like maybe a rain jacket like an M5 and M7, or even under a down jacket. So we're going to move on to some other mid-ish outer layers that can serve a lot of different purposes. I'm going to move over to the Circ Lite jacket. This jacket's pretty cool. It's also going to check that box for that August-September hunt a little bit. If it needs to be your outer insulating layer, it definitely can be. If it's going to need to be a mid-layer underneath something else when it's a little colder, it can also do that as part of that active insulation. One cool thing, and I really kind of dig this, if you guys are familiar with like their Helio line and that really nice grid fleece technology that they have set up, they put that as a side panel on the synthetic insulated jacket. This is almost as essential and really helpful as having like a thigh zip on a pant that just regulates that heat, dumps all that heat when we get too hot, and that air is going to be able to travel through these synthetic panels on the back and the front of this jacket, cooling you down where you can realistically know that, hey man, I'm running a little warm, but I'm really comfortable, and I know the minute I get to my ridge and sit, it might get a little cold. You don't have to keep taking this off and putting it on and everything. You can probably just leave it on and be really comfortable. Now, the Circ Lite jacket is actually 60 grams of Primaloft gold, so it's a little bit lighter than what you might be used to in the Cirque jacket or the Cirque Vest, but it still serves a great purpose as that active insulation. If you wanted to run early in the morning, great piece. If you wanted to go to the range and put a few rounds through the rifle or see if those arrows are flying the way you like, great piece. And then again, those earlier mornings, this would serve really, really well. Synthetic, again, does great with blocking out the wind, and I think it's just a fantastic piece because the idea why synthetic is so nice in some of these jackets is synthetic stays warm even when wet, and it dries really fast. It doesn't hold odors or stenches either. So if we're kind of thinking of like down synthetic, and I'm sure I think we have a video on that, and we can even dive into it. So if you guys do have questions about that, drop them below about down synthetic. What would you guys think? We can go down a rabbit hole and definitely help answer those for you. But operates great when wet. So if we get caught in a little bit of a storm, if maybe our sleeves get wet while we're filtering water or anything, this is a great, great jacket. And Primaloft synthetic is great for that too. So again, on the inside of this guy, we're going to have our internal pockets on either side, same thing as the vest, but instead of doing the pit zips like we talked about on the Cirque, you're going to have these really nice breathable grid fleece panels on either side, which is great, keeps you warm when sitting and everything else, and breathes really well when we're moving. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to another one. Let's say we're getting a little cold, we need to have some pants on. This is the new and improved Helio Bottom, zip off bottom, I do apologize, the new and improved Helio zip off bottom. This design is really freaking cool. What they've done, what Stone Glacier's done in this Helio zip off is they've given you a Velcro waistband. So their sizing has changed probably for the better in the sense that they're giving you a little bit more across here. So if we're tucking anything in, once we open this Velcro up, you can actually see from where I opened it, we have probably about 2 inches of Velcro that we can adjust if we're way out here. If we need to come in a little bit and tighten it up, you can do so. So this spans across your sizes a little bit better. One really cool thing, again, considering if you're wearing a pack, that hip belt is sitting right on that iliac crest that we talked about a little bit in that Mystery Ranch video, sizing. They've moved their zipper, or the zipper, from a side zipper to a front zipper. This is going to remove any hot spots and anything like that that might end up bothering that bony hip of ours, or just anything running kind of in that first 6 inches of the pelvis. Moving it to the front, making it way more convenient to zip this off, avoiding any discomfort. The Helio Bottom, the Helio zip-off bottom, sorry, is a polygene treated grid fleece as well, similar to what you would get in the Helio Hoodie or in the side panels of the Circ Lite jacket, which is going to be great. Again, introducing that silver chloride kind of sand silica antimicrobial property to the material. Don't need to wash it as much. You can wear it more often and reduce the stink in the clothing. So this is really, really cool. This would be a great layer. You could probably substitute it even for like a merino base layer if you wanted to. And then I know what some folks might think, oh man, I'm just gonna get way too hot. zip the legs open, let that heat dump out just like you would in any other pant, just to go ahead and regulate the body, because we know once we are done dynamically moving around and it's just static glassing, we're gonna zip it up, button everything else up, and get a little comfortable. The other thing too is we don't have to take our boots off anymore. We can go ahead and just drop our trousers if we need to the top of our boot, zip this puppy off, roll it up. If you need to put it in the pockets in the vest or the jacket, you can, or if your pack's on the ground, pack it away, and we can keep moving to keep glassing. So really great design, really cool consideration of time, energy, effort, comfort, and everything else. So really cool piece. I think a bunch of people in the office have already picked some up. So that's gonna benefit a lot of those Idaho hunts coming up maybe, or any late season hunt you might have. Also makes a great pajama. Moving over to kind of, it's debatable. It could be lifestyle, it could be camp, it could be a lot of things, but this is the Zenith Hoodie now. So they had the Zenith Jacket before. This is just the full polyester fleece Zenith Hoodie. This is gonna be a way warm, way comfortable setup for you. If you're sitting around camp and everything else, this is gonna be a great mid-layer, maybe underneath an M5 or M7 or any rain jacket that you might use. We've even talked a little bit, like if you were doing a late season hunt, we're just moving to a ridge and maybe you're layered up with, you know, a Avro synthetic next to skin, maybe we're running a vest underneath, this could be our outer layer, and it's just like we're radiating warmth. When you get up to that ridge line, we're just comfortable. So this is just kind of adding a hood to the Zenith already efficient jacket and setup. Nothing too crazy or special, but also again, polygene treated, everything else to reduce smell, reduce washing, and just maintain the performance that it was designed to do. And last but not least is the Grumman Light Down Jacket. There's just a few like maybe physical differences with this jacket itself and some weight differences as well. In the original Grumman jacket, it was about, about 5 ounces of down throughout the jacket and larger baffles. In this one, it's about 3 ounces of down, so they lightened it up, and they've just kind of made smaller baffles throughout the jacket. The idea behind it was to kind of suit that earlier season, colder weather, but it's still 850 plus down throughout the jacket. There's not a whole lot of difference between the two. I think it would just be maybe preference on what you want to use. There is no difference between the bigger and the smaller baffles. One cool feature they do give you guys is the stuff sack that comes with the jacket. It's great for packing it away if you need to, but do remember, down is meant to work when it's lofty and nice and breathable, not when it's packed in. So do not like permanently leave this thing stuffed in here. When you're done using it, open it up, wear it, or hang it up in the off season so the down is able to breathe and everything else. This jacket has worked really well. Again, it's gonna work great for us maybe in that early archery if we just need to throw on a lighter weight down jacket as we're moving. And that's about it. So we're pretty, the new colors that they've added are really nice too, getting away from like the old coyote and the granite gray. They're adding some tarmacs and some muskegs and everything else, and the fern, the green color throughout their line, getting a little more into the earth tones. So it's a really cool change, a really exciting change to the Stone Glacier Apparel line. They're not replicating what they already have. They're giving you pieces that fit different scenarios, and they're doing it at a pretty good price point. They're very conscientious that this is great gear that shouldn't have to break the wallet, that will last you forever. So we're really excited to have it in the GOHUNT Gear Shop. I'm sure a lot of us will be running this in our systems this year, and we're very excited to. So if you guys have any further questions on whether it's the synthetic or the down, anything else with the hoodies or any of the pieces that we talked about earlier, please drop a comment below. We'd love to answer that for you, get you all lined out. If you're coming through Las Vegas, please swing by and try it on. We'd love to meet you. Hit that thumb up button, subscribe and follow. We really appreciate the support, you guys, and we'll talk to you later.